Thank you. All right, good evening, everybody. For the record, Thursday, February 24th, 2022, time for the regular meeting of the Wenatchee City Council. As always, I call the meeting to order, and our first item is always the pledge to our flag. So Councilmember Kulas, would you lead us?
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for roll call this evening, we have all 7 council members with us tonight. Our first item on our agenda are the consent items, which includes approval of this evening's agenda, vouchers, and our minutes from a previous meeting. I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the agenda, vouchers, and minutes from previous meetings.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Hornby to adopt this evening's consent agenda, including today's agenda, vouchers, and our minutes from our previous meetings. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizen comment. This would be a time with any member of the audience who'd like to address the City Council on something that's on tonight's agenda or not. I'll give you 3 minutes. Seeing no takers, we will move on to our action items, for which we have 3 this evening. The first is regarding our wage schedule to make a small addition to the schedule that you guys adopted, I think, in the first meeting of January. So, Carrie Page, Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as the Mayor stated, we had one classification in the works waiting to be approved in November at the November Council meeting. That classification was approved. At that time, we were still constructing the job description. We finalized that. The next step then is to do a compensation analysis and an equity review within positions among the organization. So that has been done, and we are looking to place that position at grade MA20 of the appendix that you have attached. And we're looking for your authorization to add that to the wage schedule. This position was included in the budget that was approved for 2022.
Yeah, so we had an asset management person who was further up. He left. He was doing some work for us as a consultant. He's no longer doing work for us as a consultant, so we've had to re-push the project, figure out the position and where it fit.
Right.
This is well within the budget that we've done, and so we just need to get it on the list so we can get the new person hired.
Your Honor, I make a motion for the City Council to approve the addition of the new Asset Management Coordinator classification to grade MA20 of the 2022 Management Administrative Group Wage Schedule.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kulas, and a motion by Councilmember Kulas, second by Councilmember Rojan Ostian, to approve the addition of the new Asset Management Coordinator classification to grade MA20 of the 2022 Management Administrative Group Wage Schedule. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. City Pool Consultant Agreement, Mr. Erickson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Dave Erickson, Parks and Recreation Director for the city. So we are requesting this evening that the mayor be authorized to negotiate and sign an agreement with Schemata Workshop for the pool liner project and plumbing project, which I think we've talked about before. So this is kind of the next step in the process. So earlier this year, January 14th through February 4th, we conducted an RFQ process to find qualified engineering firms to do the actual engineering of the pool and an analysis of the issues. Through that process, 3 submittals were received by the deadline. We had an evaluation committee made up of myself, Charlotte Mitchell, our capital projects manager. We had Aaron and Alyssa from the facilities department, and 2 Arts Rec and Park commissioners reviewed those submittals. And it was great to see that through that process, Schemata Workshop ranked highest, both cumulatively from the scores, but then also each individual evaluator had them ranked as the top choice. We also brought this to the Public Works Committee and Finance Committee, and so we would request that the mayor be authorized to negotiate and sign that agreement.
And we do have an ask into the state legislature for some money that David had added on the list. So I think we've asked for 500. I think in the Senate budget, there's 300. And so we are trying to get a little bit of capital money to help pay for this. So the city's general fund doesn't have to take on the entire load.
Yeah, Senator Hawkins has been working really hard with us to try to get that funding. We're currently working with Representative Steele and Gaynor to try to get an additional $250,000 on the House side to bump up that budget. And then we have a grant presentation to the county commissioners on March 4th for another $225,000 LTAC money that we're hoping to get to help with this as well.
Needless to say, it needs to be done really bad. So I move for city council to authorize the mayor to negotiate and sign an agreement with Shamata Workshop for engineering and construction management for the city pool liner and plumbing project.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Harold, second by Councilmember Poyer, to authorize the mayor to negotiate and sign an agreement with Shamata Workshop for engineering and construction management for the city pool liner and plumbing project. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
And Jessica. So I've been getting my weekly email to DocuSign this agreement, and I keep ignoring it. So
Thank you.
hopefully we haven't offended anybody.
No.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jessica Shaw, Deputy Public Works Director, Utilities. And tonight I have before you what I hope to be is one of our last steps to really kick this project off, and that is signing the loan agreement for the digester project. So a little bit of background information. It's called the Water Quality Combined Financial Assistance Program, but it's essentially the Clean Water State Revolving Fund program that the State Department of Ecology administers. And in 2019, we made a request for $12 million. Costs went up, and construction costs, when we went out to bid this last fall, were 14.4 was the low bid. And so it went back to Ecology, and they kindly loaned us more money. We did account for this when we did our financial rate analysis last year. So when we did the rate study and we looked at how much we might need to borrow, we were already getting signs that construction costs were increasing. So we had estimated that we could borrow up to 16.8 million. So we're well within what we had kind of budgeted for ourselves within the rates. And so with that rates that were adopted last year to continue the 6% after 2024, that covers the loan repayment for the $16 million. So thankfully everything's coming in as predicted. So Apollo was awarded the contract to begin construction. We anticipate giving them notice to proceed actually on March 8th. So very soon, very anxious to begin. And they anticipate that they'll be pouring concrete in May, and buildings will be coming out of the ground through the summer and into the fall. So a lot of activity will be happening over the next 9 months. We're also, so the loan agreement is a 30-year loan at 1.6%. And we are anticipating that there'll be about $140,000 from the Art Fund. And we are working on a proposal for the Arts Commission to use some of that $140,000 for some improvements around the treatment plant that will be kind of complement the work that's going on with the Riverfront Park improvements in the same area. So
That's great.
more to come on that. So tonight we have a resolution that will authorize the mayor to sign the document that Ecology is very anxious for him to sign.
All right, any questions for Jessica? This is a sort of a $14 million loan became a $16 million loan, and I think you've seen it a number of times, so.
You know, every time you show up, it's dollar signs and zeros.
I know.
Yeah. There might be a lot of construction going on this summer between that, and if the lineage buildings come down, that might be
They're already coming down.
are they coming down? Okay. I'm gonna drive by tomorrow and take a look at it. So they're literally knocking them down?
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Jessica? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for the City Council to pass resolution number 2022-06 for the water quality combined financial assistance agreement between the State of Washington Department of Ecology and the City of Wenatchee.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hornby, second by Councilmember Cuevas to adopt Resolution 2022-06 for the Water Quality Combined Financial Assistance Agreement between the State of Washington Department of Ecology and the City of Wenatchee. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you very much.
I'll probably sign it tonight because it's sitting there in my inbox again.
Thank you.
Yeah, mayor's report, I'll be brief. The Finance Committee went through our annual budget workshop with department heads, looking at what they budgeted versus what they spent. And then Brad gave us a quick update on the financial condition of the city. So you saw, obviously, sales tax, the December sales tax was good. So our revenues, not including ARP funding, came in $3 million more than we projected. And our expenses came in $2 million less than we projected. So, and that did not include ARP of another $3 million. So, very strong year for the city last year. On the expense side, it really was mostly about just not being able to hire all the positions that we budgeted, including police and engineering and other spot. That was a majority of it. And on the revenue side, sales tax was 2 of the 3 million. And then we did get a building permit fee in late for something that brought fees in a little bit more. So overall, just a really strong year. And then we're going to get another $3 million of ARP funding sometime in the middle of next year. So I think from a financial perspective, we're doing extremely well. We're all monitoring things in Olympia, not only the money for the swimming pool, but been working on some of the transportation stuff. There is a transportation package that's out there that does not have any money for Confluence Parkway. Literally has, I think of the $16 billion, 1% of it is being spent in Eastern Washington. 1%. So a pretty dismal number. I did do a brief interview with Crosscut, and that was, if you saw any of the Crosscut stuff, the guy from Crosscut did a nice little article on how Eastern Washington's got excluded. And I don't know how much traction that's getting. You can't push too hard. You just got to let them know what the issues are. And so we are attempting to work that system to the best that we can, but we'll see what happens. I know Chief's been over there working on stuff with police, and so we're sort of monitoring sort of how that's going. Laura, more stuff for me? All the windows are in downstairs. I know we're going to take a quick little tour next week maybe, but all of the windows are in and they look amazing. They all got a little bit of wood trim on the inside. Inside of the building is very quiet down there. You just don't hear the car noise. It's really pretty remarkable to understand what the windows are doing and all the lights coming in and the noise isn't. And rumor has it Dimitri's really excited for the windows on his side. So I think it's gone well.
That looks great. Just wanted to give a shout out to our HR department. We did receive the AWC Well City Award. So that means that our employees participate in activities that promote health and wellness. And when they participate to a certain degree, we get a 2% discount on our medical premium. So
that usually equates to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 savings.
Yeah. So kudos to our HR team. And then the mayor participated at the State of the Cities with the chamber.
Yeah, did the chamber. There was like 30 people on the call, so it was via Zoom again. So Mayor Crawford and I did that yesterday morning before we did the WDA banquet yesterday evening. So pretty busy day with city stuff, but good questions and just, yeah.
All I had.
Council members, anything for what you guys are working on?
A couple of things. Councilmember Cuevas and I represent the council on the disability, the Law Enforcement Officers and Firefighters Fund 1 board, which retirees under that system are entitled to necessary and customary medical care in retirement. So prescription drugs and supporting things, long-term care such as in-home nursing or resident care in a convalescent setting. And through the years, we've, well, when I've been on the board, I think since I've been on the council, so let's just say 18 years, there were a little more than 60 members from Wenatchee, retirees from Wenatchee that were
Covered.
retirees in Plan 1 of Left 1. And Left 2, entrance to Left 1, I think it was the autumn of 1977 was when another plan was set up for Left 2. So, and I don't believe the city has any more active Left 1. Well, obviously we don't have any firefighters, but law enforcement officers. Anyway, there's now, I think about 30 or so, maybe 30.
We're talking 25 or something.
There's only one way to get off of the list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of here alive.
Yeah.
So every couple of years, the finance department undertakes an actuarial study to know what our long-term obligations are, and they factor in all this stuff. And these men and women are, they're entitled to the coverage. Anyway, over the years, we've kind of refined how the process works, and it's working really well right now, I think. We're assisted by Miranda Noah as our board secretary. And what we do is we meet annually and set nursing home rates and hearing aid rates. And then we meet to approve some of those expenses. And we finally figured out that since we're setting these limits, that Miranda's doing a thorough enough job that, as expenses come in, she puts them together, and then we just approved the latest batch yesterday and today, and then the checks are sent to either the providers or to reimburse the member in there. So I think we just wanted to let you know that, we're still functioning, and probably we'll probably see an actuarial study again in a couple of years, and numbers are going down, but they're getting good care. And probably the toughest things we struggle with are the folks who are wanting to try alternatives to traditional medical treatments, or particularly the more life-threatening, and those are more challenging to us in dealing with. But it's rare that we see those.
Well, thank you for looking out for the taxpayer dollars, because it is the taxpayer dollars, and we have a system in place to have double checks. And I know the actuarial study is designed for us to put on the books that we don't see a liability, because we got to come up with it's a city liability. We just don't know. So they have to actuarially figure out what should be on our books every few years.
Yeah.
So,
And the other board members, there's two members of that system required to be on there.
right.
So we have Tom Lewis, who's a retired firefighter, and Bill Taylor, who's retired law enforcement officer. And then a community member is appointed by the mayor, and it happens to be Bill Edwardson, who's a retired firefighter, was our chief for a time here. I don't know if he's actually retired from us or actually retired from the city of Seattle.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But anyway, it's a friendly working group.
Yeah.
We discuss things thoroughly.
Good. Keith?
Well, we had a great chamber meeting last week. Retail, as far as coffee, yoga, restaurants, is still doing pretty good. The rest of the retail industry is still kind of struggling. They're having trouble with inventory, and they're still having a hard time finding people who will work for a decent wage.
Yeah.
They're telling us that they're getting people right out of high school walking in demanding $17, $19 an hour with zero experience. And if they don't get it, they'll walk away. So that's kind of discouraging to hear that they're having a tough time with that still. Hotels are doing excellent. They're still having sellout weekends, especially if there's an event going on. From the clinic, they actually reported that there's a bill 1868 that's actually passed the House by a narrow margin. And if that was to go to the Senate and pass, It's a ratio of nurses to patients.
Yeah, it's a staffing bill, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if that passed, we would need another, or they would need another 150 nurses to satisfy it. It's either that or they've got to close beds.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, there is a estimate of about 6,000 shortages of nurses statewide.
I know Senator Parlette's working to make sure that doesn't happen, and then Peter Rutherford wrote something in today's Wenatchee World about it. So I know they're working hard to try to defeat it.
So then they're also interviewing a couple of candidates for the executive director position. They've got 2 candidates that they're checking backgrounds on. Both of them are local to the area, so that looks positive.
All right, Travis, top, and then anything else?
Yes. Our Masawa sister city. The trip in August is not looking real favorable right now. And currently, Japan is only allowing a total of 5,000 people into the country at any given time. And and it's not tourists.
Right.
So anyway, so it's looking pretty bad. I guess apparently the pandemic is pretty strong over there at this time.
They were slow to respond and slow to get going, yeah.
Yeah, so the travel agent said it doesn't look good. We were supposed to send deposits for those people that are going to the airlines, and my response was, don't send them because you don't know if you're going to get to go, and then you lose the money, so.
Yeah, so keep me posted, because I'm scheduled to go, but if it's not gonna happen, then I've got other things that I'm
I understand.
trying to sort of figure out, so.
Okay, I'll just forward the emails on to you.
Okay,
when
I get some of the ones from Dave, but I don't get all of them, so.
Yeah, he just sent it to the executive board, I
Okay.
guess you'd call it,
Got
last
it.
night, so.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
On the tourism front,
Yes?
Lodging Tax Advisory Committee met, and I don't want to get into the details of that, but remember, Rails and Ales tomorrow,
Yep.
starting at 5
Yep,
on Orondo between Wenatchee Avenue and Columbia.
yeah, it's fun to watch them set up too, if you get down
Yeah.
there in the afternoon and watch the
It's-
loads
on
of
Wenatchee
snow. I don't know where
Avenue?
they're coming
No,
from.
on Orondo,
Oh.
between Wenatchee and Columbia. So Columbia's, or Orondo's closed from Wenatchee Avenue, well, to the railroad.
Okay,
And you gotta get down there, because I think it like starts at 5:30 or 6, and it's done by 8:30 or 9, and
5 o'clock is when they start.
if you wanna watch the
and-
snowboarders, do all their stuff. it's
And
pretty
if you wait long, the snow is not as great and it's not as much activity, so.
cool. All right,
Health District Board didn't meet because of President's Day, so we'll be
Okay.
meeting on this coming Monday.
all right, everybody. I guess with that, we're adjourned. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Good.